The Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah, gotta give you some thanks for doing it. Before the fight happened, I had kind of already had in my mind, I'm like, okay, it's been a year since we last kind of did this, and it was right after the Barboza fight, and I was like, okay, I'm a get through the fight, and then I'm gonna do this. The result wasn't exactly what I wanted, you know what I mean, and it made me hesitant about doing it, but I was like, this is the story, you know what I mean, and this is. As I said, kind of like was upset at myself for a few days. Eventually, I just kind of got over it. And I'm like, you know what? I said I was going to do it before. I'm not about to be no sore ass loser. And you know, might as well.
Like I said, I love you whether you win or lose. I'm just, it's a giant part of the game.
Yeah.
Half the game is losing.
Yeah.
Someone has to win. Someone has to lose. If you watch a fight, someone's losing. Unless it's a draw.
And I figure it's all about how you approach it and how you take it into the next fight. And really, when you look at it, I mean, it sucks. It really does, and I hate it. It's something that boils up inside of me. Like I go over, I replay the fight a million times in my head, and I just hate losing, and I hate that feeling. But it's just the reality, and it's like. It's just real life, and it's
just real life.
There's nothing you can do about it.
There's nothing you do once it's over.
Yeah.
The only thing you can do is learn and grow.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the guy you fought is a stud. I mean, you fought Rafael dos Anjos. He's a fucking legitimate world champion fighter.
Yeah, when I was approached with the fight and kind of start really diving into it and really looking at him, like, I always liked a really big challenge, and that one was definitely one. You know, he had already had a lot of fights that went 5 rounds. He's fought pretty much everybody. You know, Kamaru Usman was his last fight. Kobe Covington, he had fought Khabib. He had already fought like a lot of top guys, and for 5 rounds. So I knew what type of challenge it was. It's just I hold myself at a high esteem. So I was like, you know what, I'm just ready to do it. You know what I mean? And, the fight itself was good, but either way, I'm gonna learn from it and grow from it. And I still got a whole long road ahead of me. So
you do have a long road ahead of you, but as we were talking about, that long road could sneak up on you real quick, and before you know it, you're 37 years old trying to figure out if you still want to fight.
Yeah,
that's how it happens to guys. I've seen it happen to guys.
Yeah, so I feel like if you approach it smart, you know what I mean, it can still get done, which is what I'm trying to do.
Right.
I kind of already knew that I needed to make some changes and do some things different, even before this fight and before my last one too. But, I just was like, okay, I'm going to just get through this one and then I'll do it. And now I'm going to get through this one and then I'll do it. But, that's kind of a big wake-up call to just like, all right, it's time to get outside of the comfort zone and kind of do something different and kind of do what I already know I got to do.
What did you think was going to happen in the fight, and what was surprising?
I didn't think that he would be able to keep the pace for sure. But what surprised me was how smart he was and how he beat me tactically more than anything. Is, when I was going, he wasn't doing, and he kind of he controlled the pace better than I thought he was going to. I thought once I set that pace that he was going to be right there with me. But then as it got going, I started to realize, he's not really expending much energy. He's kind of just letting me burn out my energy, and then he took his moment when I made the last mistake. And really, when it boiled down to it, I lost one position at the end there, where I went for a takedown, and 9 times out of 10, when I go and club back, the guy hits his knees. But he just stayed on his feet and stepped out. And when I hit my knees, it's like lost that position. And against a guy like that, so dangerous, a black belt, and is so good, I knew one slip up was going to be all it needed. And I think he knew that too. And he was just kind of waiting, buying his time, and hoping that I slip up.
It seemed like you expended a lot of energy early on, and it seemed like by the time he got the submission, you were fairly tired.
Yeah, I mean, Follis always used to tell me this, and it was always there's tired and can and tired and can't. It's a fight. You're gonna be tired.
Right.
But I still do think I had my legs underneath me and still could. It's just I could have played it better tactically. I could have had more time when I wasn't just going, as like you said, especially in that first round. If I would have had a little bit better experience maybe or something. I don't know. I'll figure that out. But played it a little smarter like he did.
Do you have a person that's giving you strategy, or are you sort of making your strategy up on the fly?
That's one of the things that's kind of the main thing that I'm Robert Follis was that guy for me until he passed, and then I kind of just picked up the ball, and I understand fighting, but yeah, it's mostly me doing the strategy, and right now that's where I'm in the limbo of trying to find somebody who already has that experience and has already been there and done it to tell me a little better strategy. Yeah,
I think it's so critical, man. I really do. And we had this conversation over the phone about it. I think that a young fighter with a lot of potential like yourself, there's a reason why fighters have trainers. There's a reason why fighters have head coaches. It's not because they want to give up all their money. Yeah. It's because it helps. And you can delegate that thought process to a master, someone who's a master of martial arts, who understands positions, who understands strategies, seen guys tired, seen guys good, seen you in the gym, seen you grind, understands your skill set, understands how you are when you come in perfect, understands how you are when you come in tired. So that is just giant. And having someone who understands you psychologically as well, and also having someone that you respect and that you want to impress, all those things are huge.
Yeah, it's a big one, especially like you said, being able to talk to you too, and being able to understand you. I think that's what Rob did really well. Yes, and he was
so good.
He kind of like reeled me in a little bit. Like I'm the type I'm just kind of go, and I kind of think higher to myself than maybe even I am, but that's just how I am. So,
but that's how you have confidence, right?
Yeah. So, but he was the type to kind of reel me in, and he used to even tell me like, "Hey, you don't got to get hit so much." Or I'll stand in front of a guy and just like, especially when I was younger, it was a little even worse, and because that's just how I be feeling. Right. But he was kind of the type to reel me in more than anything. It's not like he would tell me one specific techniques or it was even about his style or anything like that. It was just the way that he was able to kind of get through to me and kind of make me understand what it is that I'm trying to do.
Yeah. And you guys had just a good relationship too. He was such a good guy, man. Yeah. Such a good dude. Just losing him, it was devastating for the whole mixed martial arts world, but losing him for you had to be a real, just a giant change in your career.
Yeah, it's
Which fight did he die before?
He died right after the Tony fight, which is a whole nother piece of it. I know he had a whole lot of things going on early in his life, especially with his family, and when we went to his memorial and people were kind of explaining what it's like growing up in he grew up a Jehovah's Witness, so he's like explaining what it's like to grow up like that, and to try and get away from that and having your family disown you, and how like that can I understand the importance of family, so I can get that, but then even I'm like, man, they would tell us we were more so keeping him alive longer than anything. So I'm like, man, if I would have won that fight with Tony, it's like, fuck, would he still be here? You know what I mean? Those are the type of I'm like, did I do it to myself almost? But I already know. I'm already at the point where I kind of got over it a little bit, and I kind of understand that I'm not going to be able to replace him by any means. But I am going to have to get that person who can still speak to me in that same light. The only way that I'm going to make it right is to win that title and do it for him. He kind of saw that for me. And he was kind of the one to give me that confidence to say, because he's already coached multiple UFC champions. So when he told me that he could see me being a champ, that really I was like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't really, I kind of got it a little bit, but I didn't really know it until, he gave me that kind of confidence. Right. So the only thing that's going to make it right is to go out there and win that title. And that's if I got, no matter what I got to do, I'm not stopping until I do it. So.
Are you 100% committed to 170 now?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's right.
You look like you're about 190 now, right?
Yeah, I'm just about. I'm about 185, 186, which is normally what I would be about getting ready for a 55-pound fight too. Actually, when I stepped into the cage, I was lighter going into this fight than I was for some of my 55-pound fights.
Really?